I'm going to share with you the number one thing that I wish that I knew about sheep before actually getting them. And really honestly, before actually getting a ram. Okay, so I spread out a bunch of this straw here, and I did initially lay it down just way too thick. It was just really unnecessary. So I ended up just pushing a bunch to the corners, and that'll create just a little bit of a, I don't know, a cold barrier. And maybe it'll be an easy way for us to clean out the center, and then just continue to bring new hay down as needed. But yeah, I think this will work for now. We'll see. Definitely put too much hay in here. So we're gonna check on pregnant mama right now. Hi Gail, how are you feeling? How are you doing? You're growing. That's for sure, you're growing. Hi Ghirardelli. Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. So cute. So this is Ghirardelli. He is not the father. He's one of our wethers, and he's just super docile. So he's in here with Gail. Gail is the mama, and she's got, I have no idea how far along she is. She's got something in there. Could be 1, could be 2, could be 3. So we'll see. But I know that as she starts getting closer to the due date, she does start to get bigger, and she has definitely shown some significant growth in the last week, and she's definitely starting to fill up a little bit. Maybe she'll turn around. We can see. Gail, how you doing? How you doing? Will you turn around, Gail? See, I don't know if you can see there, but her milk is definitely, her colostrum's definitely starting to come in. She's filling up in her bags a little bit. I don't notice too much on her hind end yet, as far as any swollenness or, yeah, I don't really know. I've been watching a lot of videos, and we will see. Okay, so you just saw us bring Gail into this. We set up a dog kennel for her. Obviously, we know we don't want her to be alone, and so this gives us the opportunity to be close to her and spend some time with her and just kind of get prepared for her to give birth. We're gonna have her in here during the day, and then the spot in our garage that we set up is just right around the corner here. So we'll be able to just kind of lead her into that spot indoors at night. And between these two spaces, I did take some of the hay that was built up on the sides over here because that was pretty ridiculously. That was just way too much. I did take some of that and put it over in like our cat house area. We'll be able to bring her in here at night, and then she'll have, you know, a dry spot to birth if she births that night when we're not present. And, you know, they won't have to worry about, you know, it being too cold or anything like that. So this space will be really handy. We'll walk her out here during the day. We had some construction going on over there that needs to be fully cleaned up. And then we'll just be able to spend time with her and watch her. And our other sheep are in the solar electric fence that we are moving around. And so, yeah, we just want to prepare and do, you know, do all that we can without a barn to just make sure that we have a safe spot for her to birth. So, yeah, hi Gail. She's a very, very sweet sheep. So my husband said that she's been laying down a lot more, which is definitely can be a sign. You can see her udders there. Her bags are filling up a little bit. Her belly is definitely big, but I still think she might have a little time. You know, she's not really swollen in her hind end. And yeah, I just think that she might, yeah, she's not really swollen in her hind end. And I just think that she might have another, you know, week. I mean, 1 to 3 weeks really is my thought. I don't think she's going to go this weekend, but we want to be prepared because we are in a very cold zone, Minnesota. Hi, duckies.
Edit out the ridiculous parts. Yeah, see, I'm not. That's just her fat layers up there.
Okay.
And her tissues. Let's see. And I try to face it forward.
Then it stops.
Yeah. See, it's right. I'm right, like here to get good contact where I think is where she's bald.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if I try to move from that spot. Oh yeah.
Wagging her tail like crazy.
I can hear it.
Loves it.
You guys are weird, but okay. Yeah, you can see how the tissues start to go down on that side there. Yeah. It's like a cavity, but I don't, you know, you're going to have the room in here too a little bit. We could try her on her
Should I try that?
if you want. If it doesn't, you know, if you think it stresses her out or it'll be too hard on her, then don't.
She's
you know
fine.
what I mean?
They're used to it.
Gosh.
Ooh.
I know, sweetheart.
Okay, so if you saw our sheep shearing video where we kind of determined that this lady here, Gail, was most likely pregnant. She had been exposed to our ram all summer. We were expecting fall babies. So where are those babies, Gail? We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's just chat for a moment about the number one thing that I wish that I knew more about before actually getting sheep, and particularly before getting a ram, is actually more about their fertility cycle and just how to tell if a sheep is pregnant, how to tell if they are in estrus, how long their cycles are, and when they typically breed according to actually your breed of sheep. So Gail here is a Finn Gotland cross. Finn sheep are actually typically known for breeding out of season. That is something that I did not necessarily know or realize. Typically, the breeding season for sheep is in actually the winter time. So it's between it ranges depending on where you're living and what breed of sheep you have. But it's going to be kind of your early fall months, so like August, September, and it typically goes until I think it was like February. That's a typical breeding season, so that you have spring lambs. Now, again, that's going to vary depending on where you are in the country or in the world, what your climate is, and again, what breed of sheep you have. Well, the thing about Finn sheep, again, she's a Finn Gotland cross, but because she has a high volume of Finn in her, she's going to breed very similar to them. And they can breed out of season. And I really wish I would have done some more research before putting her and the ram together to know the signs of estrus, to know when is she going to be fertile, basically, so that we know exactly when to put them together if we actually want lambs, and when to keep them apart if we know we don't want lambs. Now, we live in a very cold climate, so we're here in northern Minnesota, and we definitely don't want winter lambs. We don't have a barn, she's in this setup you saw me kind of put together here, in expectation of having some lambs. We didn't want them to be born, out in the cold. Lambs are very hardy, but you don't want the initial drop to be in wet or windy conditions, and so it's just kind of best to have them in a barn situation, or she's so happy, in kind of a safe place for them to be lambed in. And then once they're dried off, and they have that colostrum in their bellies, they are pretty hardy. So it was just the initial drop that we were concerned about. So definitely setting up a nice, warm, safe place for her to lamb was important. So that's something definitely to take into consideration when having sheep, and particularly in cold climates. You want to make sure you're not going to be having those lambs in the winter, especially if you're not quite prepared for them. Also, when it comes to, you are so funny. Do you see her little teeth when she's smiling? And also just learning the signs of how to tell if your sheep is actually pregnant. Like, maybe you weren't super hands-on, like we weren't super hands-on when she may or may not have actually been in estrus. We didn't necessarily look for the signs. We just kept them together all summer. And so now we're in this guessing game of, is our sheep pregnant? We are winding down to the last month and a half of the window in which she could still possibly have any kind of lambs. So she has always been a beefy gal, and so it's actually been really hard to tell. Sheep are ruminants, so they have a very complicated digestive system. And the reason I bring that up is because one of the reasons that you should be able to tell if your sheep is pregnant is by the way that their belly or abdomen looks. The rumen is on the left side, and that always fills up when they have food, a lot of food, and so the left side kind of protrudes a little bit, and usually if the right side matches that, it could be an indicator that they're pregnant. And same if it hangs much lower, definitely those are signs. If their bags are filling up at all, and this lady shows all of those signs, but not consistently. It kind of goes up and down, and so really, learning about a sheep's fertility cycle, a ewe's fertility cycle, and the way that your ram breeds, as far as the interactions, your ram's temperament, and putting them together and really observing them, that's going to be the number one thing I would say to be aware of if you plan to get sheep. Is if you don't want lambs, or if you do want lambs, just do the study and know what that looks like for your sheep breeds, your climate, and your particular sheep and their temperament, as well as their body style and structure. Like I said, she's a very beefy girl, so she shows signs of possible pregnancy, but maybe she's just not pregnant. So we are in January, and we clearly don't have fall lambs. we don't even know if we're going to have winter lambs at this point. She is still kind of showing some signs, but they seem to be all over the place. Actually, putting her outside now, it just really doesn't make sense. She hasn't been acclimated to the elements for this winter. And if we do actually want lambs, we are kind of coming up right upon the perfect time to actually put her and the ram together. So as we're winding down in that window of available time that she could still have lambs in there, I don't want to discredit it because I don't want to miss if she actually does have a lamb or two in there. I don't want to miss it and stick her outside and then, you know, everything goes kind of foobar. So we're going to keep her in here just for this last little window. She has about 5 more weeks in that window. So sheep are pregnant for 4.5 to 5 months, depending on the breed. So that ranges anywhere between like 143 days and like 155 days. There's definitely a range in there that amongst all the information that I've seeked and looked up, there's an average in there. And so from the last time that her and our ram were together until the very last date that she could possibly lamb, that would be the end of February. So we are just going to kind of let her rock it out the last, 6 weeks here. And if there's no lambs, then her and Mr. Ram, his name is Harvey, they will, we can put them together and we'll see if she's in estrus at that moment. Again, learning about the estrus cycle and the fertility cycle of your sheep, which typically lasts around 17 days. There is a window, just like humans. Humans go through their cycle once a month, and there's a short window that they're extremely fertile. Same with sheep. It just is a less frequent thing, and it lasts for a longer period of time. So learning about that will be super important. So if you are here for the babies, sorry, there's no babies. Not yet, at least. But at some point, we're still in the window. I mean, she could still have babies. But if she doesn't have any for this winter, we'll definitely try to see if we can get some for this summer. So if you're here for that, stay tuned. If you are planning on getting your own sheep, this is definitely the number one thing I would say. If you plan to have a ewe and a ram that are both viable, definitely plan on doing the research on your breed of sheep, your climate. Do you want lambs? Do you not want lambs? Is it best for you to castrate, or what do you want to do with your sheep? So definitely do the research. You don't want to be stuck in an icky situation or an unsafe situation for the animals. And so that is what I would say to you. As a new sheep farmer still learning, this is what I've learned and the number one takeaway of what to do before you get sheep. Do your research.